Welcome, Spark. So what kind of Spark are you? Player? Creator? Or both? The stories yet to be told. The games to be made. Civilizations and societies to be formed. The universe is waiting for you to bring it to life. Now, how do we begin?
And hello there, community.
Hey, community, what's going on?
All right, so we have a Tuesday education stream for you. This one, we are going to be covering a bunch of different mechanics for your top Conker level.
Exactly. These will be the things you have to basically include if you want to have like a nice, authentic like Conker game, right? Well,
Yeah.
not have to, but good things to include, I say.
Yeah, exactly. So here's what we're going to be going through this tutorial. Let us know if you can't hear us, or if actually I didn't check the sounds. Should be usually one thing I usually do.
Those are pretty high.
That is super high. So let's turn down the sounds first, so people can actually hear us and not just the sounds in game. All right. So
That
what
might
we're going to be
preferable for them,
depending on how good we actually are at teaching
right.
them stuff. It's all up to us. So, all right, what we're going to be covering today is we're going to show you guys how we put together the Conker brain. So you can take a look at that. You can see kind of the brains that are coming with the Conker pack. This is all with Conker Creation Pack, which comes out April 23rd for those of you who didn't know and have been living under a rock for the past few weeks in Project Spark. Then we are going to show you how we do the Conker hover mechanic of, his double jump is kind of his tail spinny thing, and his, what he calls it is his helicopter-y tail thingy, and how he does that.
After that, we'll do the context.
Actually, let's switch those two up. Let's do cinematics next.
Okay. That'll be easier.
So I'll then show how to do cinematics.
Cool.
And how to set up Conker's like big about cinematics. You have all these cinematic cutscenes, so we're going to show how to set up a nice cinematic where you do kind of lots of character switches, perspective switches. Really useful for anything that's even not Conker 2. Then Tom's is going to cover how to do something like a context-sensitive button push.
Yeah, so that way it'll basically do a push brain kind of thing, so we'll change like the behavior of Conker and kind of affect it that way, so that'll be really cool. Context-sensitive is obviously a huge important part of Conker games, and it's like a way of introducing new gameplay. And then after that, we're going to take a look at the peephole transition. So with TU9, everybody got free peephole icons, and there's a small and a large. It does a little bit. Peephole. Anyway, so those will be, and I'm the UI guy apparently, so we'll take a look at that and how to make that a really nice transition. And they actually make a really good dream sequence kind of thing too. We'll kind of look at that too.
Yep.
And then finally, we'll both take a look at the animated curse bubble.
Yeah, so big thing in Conker is you have when someone curses, you have all these animated curse things that kind of animate. So we'll show you how you can actually do that in Project Spark. And so before we start, let's just kind of walk you through the different stuff we're going to be showing. So you got Conker here in test mode. Let's make him jump. Do his helicopter-y tail thingy. Yeah, he's speeding around. So then you go up to Birdie, and it starts a cinematic. And all he says what, who's that? And then it switches back to you. So just quickly show you kind of how to add more stuff in there. Then we have this context-sensitive B button. So you hit that, and it pushes kind of the context-sensitive B buttons are a way in Conker to put new mechanics into Conker games. So here we just have it so that it makes you perpetually be able to do the helicopter tail spin thing. So hit that, and then you see, and he does his he just says his rapid flying. Yeah,
it's
look
probably
at me.
me and Brian's
I'm
most
soaring.
favorite animation.
Yeah. And then hit the B button again, and it brings him back to his normal flying self. So then we'll talk about peepholes, which actually we haven't set up in the level yet, and we will end with the animated curse bubble. You got the Teddy really mad at you. I'm so mad at you, man. With his curse words. All right. So, we have when everyone gets Conker, then we are going to have 2 different kinds of Conker brains that come with that kind of you can use. So let's talk through both of them. You're going to have 2 new different brains in the brain gallery. And those are going to be a third-person glide fighter brain. This is kind of the default brain that I was using. It's a bit less advanced. It still has some advanced code in there, but not incredibly advanced. It's basically it's having it so that you do your double jump, and on your double jump, you're like flying downwards towards the ground. So you're like slowly progressing towards the ground. So we have that, and I'll just show you kind of how that looks like with him jumping and flying. And this is what we were doing before in test. Yep. Then we have a much more complex Conker brain that we call aptly the third-person Conker advanced brain. This is for our more skilled coders will know kind of how we set this up, but it's 10 pages. This is meant to be kind of drop and play Conker exactly how Conker was like in Bad Fur Day. Let's bring in a Teddy's enemy here just so we can kind of like show that off. So let's jump into test. So you'll see when he's being shot, his chocolate bars go down. So like, let's have the Teddy shoot me again. Like, bam, he just lost another piece of chocolate. So then, like, when I hurt a Teddy, then I bring out the frying pan, and then kind of once I destroy it, then he'll then like put away his frying pan, just like that. So it's just like Conker as like him in his normal game. So this is kind of more advanced. Definitely a more advanced Conker that if you just want to make a game with Conker mechanics just like good old-fashioned Bad Fur Day, you want to use this advanced brain. So those are the 2 different brains you're going to have at your disposal to help you kind of plug and play different Conker type games. So let's start to looking at this third-person glide fighter brain. First thing I want to do, because I'm going to reference Conker a lot, I want to set him as a global variable. So let's do global object variable. So let's do object. We're going to call him player, and we're going to say global player is equal to me. And now this will make it so now you can kind of reference this Conker character anywhere in the world by saying global player. That knows that it's kind of saving him as this object variable. So how Conker's gliding works is actually his helicopter tailspin thing is his flight animation. So when he's in his flight animation, then that's when he's doing his helicopter tailspin. So what we're actually doing is we're transitioning from Conker walking to Conker flying. Let's get a Conker with a blank brain here and kind of walk you through the basics of it. So we are going to get rid of this. We're going to keep that brains or the camera stuff. We're going to get rid of that because we're going to do that. We're going to get rid of that, all this stuff. Okay. So what you first want to do is when he needs to do a double jump, right? So when A is pressed, then you want to basically have it so he'll jump if he's not already like falling or jumping or what have you. So I think, did we do it in one line here? I have to go through and look. Yeah, we did it. Okay, good. So I can say when not, put in parentheses here. Then I can say falling or jumping or what was the third one? Flying, right. Okay. So what we're doing here is we're just setting parameters of we only want him to kind of transition into flight on his second jump. So this is making sure he transitions on his second jump, not his first jump. Flying. Okay. Then if he's not falling, jumping, or already flying, when A is pressed, then he's going to jump. And so that makes it so that the very first time he jumps, he actually jumps. Then the next thing is, oops, don't worry about that. We're all good, folks. We're on an internal build because Conker hasn't released yet. So let's see. All right, so what we're next setting is kind of when A is not pressed. We're using this else line, and else basically says when this is happening, you do this. When it's not happening, you use an else line. So like when this, else do this. So like it's sort of like this, or you can do this if this isn't happening. That's what the else line does for when. Then we want to start setting booleans. So I want to call a boolean called canGlide, and then I want to set when I canGlide.
Gliding equals true.
Yeah, gliding equals true. Okay, so now the next part here is what happens actually when you're in your gliding phase. So once A is pressed, so this else is basically looking for, it's saying that you've pressed A and you are either jumping, falling, or flying.
Yep.
So you're either jumping, falling, or flying at this point, and then that means gliding is going to equal true. When gliding equals true, then you are first going to start by jumping. So we're going to get you a bit higher, because the double jump does get you a bit higher. So we're going to have this all happen under the A pressed button. You still want it all under A pressed. And then you just say here, when like started to A pressed, then you jump. And you want to say started to so that it just runs for one frame. The cool thing about jump is you can assign a number here, and that specifies your jump height. So now it's saying you jump at a height of 1.8. So once you've done that, then you now kind of can't glide. So canGlide needs to be set to false. Oh, and I realized. Wait, do we do A pressed or A? Let's see here.
Just A pressed for that one.
Yeah, we do A pressed. Okay, good. I actually wanted to though.
Not have that child line.
That's where I messed up. Okay, so we have this under gliding. All right, I'm just making sure I get it like in the exact order they have it here. So the next thing you do is you're doing a raycast hit downwards, because you want to make it so that like once he's close to the ground, he kind of falls onto the ground, so he doesn't continue to spin into the ground until he's like on the ground itself. So let's just kind of rebuild this. What you want to do is go to sensors, you go to raycast hit. You're looking at a raycast hit is drawing kind of an invisible line that's looking for when it's hitting terrain or objects or anything in a certain direction. So we're going to say in direction world down. What that's saying is like a line from me that's from my character that's looking at world down, and like at what point does it hit. We only want it to have a length of 1.2 meters. I actually like it even be less than our default brain. I kind of like having it at 0.8 meters. Just makes it a bit kind of closer, better feeling.
Don't feel like you're getting pulled out of the sky too much.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you're a bit closer to the ground when you fall. Yeah. So then, as soon as you do a raycast hit, as soon as you know that that there's terrain that's 0.8 meters below you, then another boolean becomes activated that is called fall. And fall basically just makes you fall to the ground. Then we also have, you'll see kind of there are two other instances that make fall true. You let go of A, or you have kind of after 2 seconds, it times out. So that makes it so you can't just continue to do your helicoptery tailspin thing. So what you want to add here is when A is released, then fall is equal to true. And then you also add, I just pasted in the countdown timer too. So after 2 seconds, fall is equal to true. So that kind of any of those three things happen, you then fall to the ground. So then you're looking at kind of when I'm not falling, I'm doing something. So let's just take this here. And so we're using some actual vector math here, and that's just sort of setting your velocity vector to be a bit faster and get you going. But the really important thing we're doing here, so I'm just gonna copy out this vector math. It's not really important. You don't have to do this with a gliding character, this sort of vector math.
Yeah, I was more added to make sure it just felt better and felt more like Conker.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So we set it all to kind of happen within. Let's get rid of this. So we set this all to happen within a very short amount of time. We used just experiments, and we kind of ended up with 6 frames. The game runs at 30 frames per second. So that's where we kind of figured out that this is a good amount of time. So what we're doing is taking a vector variable, and what do we call it? I believe we just called it left stick. Stick direction, right. So the cool thing is you can set a vector variable to be equal to your the position of your left or right stick.
On the controller, yeah.
We actually were messing around with that last night when we were doing this multiplayer Conker game we're working on. So yeah, we were actually kind of found some really good uses for that. Oh, and you have kind of a container here that just says when you're doing the left stick, then stick direction equals left stick. So this isn't too crucial to have this, but this is crucial to have. So basically for 6 frames, you then Conker starts to move in that direction that you've pointed a stick in. So he continues to move in that direction. The way you so when you have something doing a hover, the way you get it to slowly fall down to the ground is you do move in direction world down, along with whatever other movement you're doing in the game. Move in direction world down is kind of the easiest way. It's much easier than, say, decrementing his Y vector, which I used to do in games I used to make. Move in direction world down kind of has this nice, slow, gradual flying animation that can feel really good. So we'll put this right here, and you don't really need any of that other stuff. But I'm going to copy in, so this is just sort of useful because we're working in 3D space, so I'm not a pro on vectors by any stretch, but this kind of setting a vector to be at a camera space is sort of making it just easier to work in this 3D environment. That's my horrible way of explaining that.
Don't look at me either. I won't be able to help on the camera space.
Yeah, this is our kind of engineers figured out this was the best way of making it so that it just feels good. So all of that now basically does his animation. And I think now we just need to close up booleans. All right, we have an else for this whole thing. Right.
So when not gliding, he just moves.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just make sure that's under, yeah.
Just one, right? There you go.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Let's make this guy's brain inactive.
And then we have to close the...
Oh, darn it, the teddy. Forgot about that guy. Okay. Yeah, so we haven't completed it.
Yep.
So he wasn't doing his jump. So... we need to add this all in. So, like, what happens when he falls? So this is, we've just, like, all this is what happens when he doesn't fall. But when he does fall, then you just make him fall. So, like, he falls. Fall is a great thing. It just makes someone fall back to the ground.
Yep, and it's basically just forcing that movement and then turning off that other boolean for gliding. Which will make sure everything else doesn't run.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see what I did wrong here. So I messed up something. You always mess up something. And what I did is I didn't have these be under there. Because you only want him moving when you're actually using the left stick. And then I believe, let's see, just cleaning up all my code. I believe we wanted left stick. It's just going to be an else for the whole all of gliding. Okay.
Oh no, now I won't do it?
No.
You had it right before.
Yeah. Like, the most important thing, though, is, like, if you're working with, I mean, we use probably more complicated vector math than we need to. Like, the simple way of kind of, well, I mean, more complicated vector math than they need to use in, like, their creations they're making. If you just want to have, like, simple gliding, then you have all that. So when A is pressed, then like, the thing that's kind of most important is on the second jump, you have a Boolean that triggers, and we call it gliding. Mm-hmm. You start out with a jump there, and then you just, like, I could actually, I'll keep this in here, but I could actually delete all of that, and I could say, for instance, I know what the issue was anyways. I had them all under started to.
Oh.
Yeah. I just had them all the child lines under started to. But anyways, like, you could just say, so I could just say, like, left stick, do, move with flying. And then I could also say move flying in direction rolled down. And that would I mean, it'd be not as elegant, but that would pretty much do it. Just move in direction flying, and then you also at the same time are moving direction rolled down. And then I have fall correct. Wait, I don't think I have left stick though. Yeah, I got rid of left stick. So I just gotta say else. Then when left stick. Oopsies. So many left sticks.
Yeah.
Then do move. Missing something still. So let's see.
Well, let's see, because are you not getting like up high enough, or is the raycast like happening immediately and just ending it before you can even do anything? Because you just have that raycast going.
Oh, maybe that's why we did countdown timer 6 in frames.
Because I'm assuming it's but it starts immediately.
Yeah, potentially. Nope. Oh well. We'll chalk that up to like poor coding at some point with mine. But I mean, I hope that like kind of walks you through step by step. Obviously, recreating line by line on stream, like I was thinking, hey, if I just have the whole thing here and I recreate it like line by line, it'll be fine. There's always like one thing I forgot to do a child line for, or always double check your work and don't double check it live.
Yeah.
All right. So, anyways, we're just going to, hopefully you went through all this, and I was able to show you. Oops, I want to get that. I was able to show you kind of line by line, like explain what was going on with all those lines. So next thing I want to talk through is, let's just make sure this guy. Yeah. Okay, good. The guy didn't change, still works. Yeah.
We could have broke him just by looking at him.
Yeah. All right, I want to make sure. It's like really important with cinematics, make sure you set your global player. So I'm setting that right here. Okay, so what I have is I got Birdie here, and I have this logic cube that just has a target sensor. Let's bring this logic cube off. So we're going to copy it. So first thing you want to do is go into Brain, go to Sensors, turn Trigger Zone to On, and then you're able to kind of set what the trigger zone is. So you can set kind of like a what point cinematic triggers. You can do also like when Boolean happens, the cinematic triggers, but for this, I want to make it so that when Conker gets into this little trigger zone, it activates, Birdie starts talking. So you just all you want to add in here is, let's remove all this. Okay. So you want to say that when started to, in trigger zone, global, and we're referencing that object variable again, global player. Then I like to use this Boolean called play. I just call play and set that to true. And once play becomes true in this cinematic brain, then I do certain things. So when play, the first thing I actually want to do is I want to set a new camera, because with cinematics you want to set a bunch of different cameras. And so what I do is I go over here. I like to use fixed cameras. So do fixed camera, in-world fixed camera, and kind of, let's actually, before I had a kind of like over shoulder, so let's do kind of a hero shot of him, like right here like that. So we do that, and then we want to say global player. We want to make this guy inactive during this. So we'll use global player, brain is active, equals false.
Yep.
And
it's really
then,
important during cutscenes, like just obviously while this is happening and you're switching to a camera, you want to make sure your player like is turned off, so you're not like, while you're like playing around with the left stick during a cutscene, your character falls off the map or something because you can't even see him, something like that. So it's just always important to make sure that basically you're turning off that brain, and that's why it was important to set that global player object variable in the beginning.
Yeah, yep, exactly. And what I like to do with these cinematics is switch to actually the cinematic portions, switch to new page and do them. I use a lot of page switching. So like what I do is I set play, I set what the very first camera angle is that I look at, and then I switch to the next page. Then on page 2, I don't think I need to recode this, but I have Birdie, he does this emote taunt, and then he says, who are you? Who's that? And he says it above. And after 3 seconds, we go on to scene 2. So let's insert another page here. And scene 2, I want to set up a new camera. So let's do a fixed camera as well here. And Conker's going to be like right here. So we'll do like kind of over Birdie's shoulder looking at Conker. Just like that. Bam. You can have a nice kind of transition easing. So kind of one camera moves to the next camera. But I don't want to do that here. I just want to do like direct cut. Then here I want to say global player says, Beardy, is that you? And I'm gonna also have it so that when page entered, I'm gonna have Conker do an emote as well. And he's going to talk. To explain, why not? And then after a countdown timer of like, let's also say 3. Then we're just going to switch to next page again. With each of the different scenes, that's when you kind of usually do your page switches to make it a bit easier, so you don't have to do multiple camera transitions per page. And then how I close it out is, let's delete this, and close out, the cinematic's done. You actually want to do, usually your character's going to have a follow camera on them, so that means their follow camera is going to pick back up where the last camera left off. So I actually like to do, very end, you set a new camera around where you want the follow camera to be pointing when the cinematic's done.
Gotcha.
So I'll put this here. Conker would be right around here, so I'll have that there. And then I reactivate him. So let's say global player. Use brain is active equals true. And just like that, I now have a cinematic with 2 different scenes. And
I like how you use all the pages. It keeps it really clean.
Yeah, I mean, because it's really easy to follow. Like, the very first page, you set what the camera is. The important thing is I actually find it's much better to set the camera before you make a player inactive. Okay. Just because there's... if you make a player inactive before there's another camera, there is a potential the camera could switch to something else that hasn't been turned off yet.
You get like a really janky movement.
Yeah, something. Exactly. So this keeps it from any sort of switching because you're pushing on a new camera before, like a frame before the player is activated. So now I go in test mode, go up to Birdie, and
whoa, who's that?
Yeah,
Birdie, is that you?
And then bam, it's just back. So, I mean, really rudimentary. You can definitely build on top of that, though. So, Thomas, you want to talk about the context-sensitive B button we got going on here?
Do I want to talk about it? I think I do. Awesome. Also, chat thinks I look like Henry after I shaved my head. I did it this morning. I just was, like, so tired of the long hair. But it's funny. They were saying I needed to lean back more and have a cap. All right, so we're going to jump on over here. So let's first just take a look at it in action one more time. So here's the context-sensitive button. And so the idea in Conker games is when you come across one of these, it usually gives you what you need at that moment is kind of the way that they introduce it. But oftentimes that presents itself as like a new mechanic, whether that's like, granting you, some medicine for your hangover or toilet paper to fight a boss, that kind of thing. So in this case, when we hit B, we start flying around like crazy, and I just want everybody to appreciate those cheeks. Look at that guy. Look at those cheeks. Oh, you're so cute. So we're gonna fly over here, and then what we have, you could have it where just there's a timer that has him turn off. We actually have it where you have to just come back over here in his little landing pad.
You have to jump again, yeah, to get out of it. Yeah, we actually have him coded the brain to get you out of it. Oh. This is just mainly to kind of show you camera pushing or pushing things.
Oh, but you do have to be here to jump out of it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But you can, you can actually make it so that like after countdown timer deactivates.
We'll see. So that's what we're going for. So let's go over to see how Brian coded this guy. So here's our context-sensitive brand new prop, by the way. I don't know if you've been able to show that off. Look at that thing.
Yeah.
So cool.
I think I saw people asking, like, I didn't see a context-sensitive B button in the trailer. And my response to them was, do not fear, good sir.
Yeah, right. And you can, like, recolor this, anything. So, because I usually think they, like, blend them into, like, the environments in Conker.
Yeah, also, the original one, the B wasn't red because I don't think the B button on the N64...
I don't think it was. It was, like, a weird...
Wait, no, it was red, I thought. But I don't think it was red in Conker's Bad Fur Day. I think the B was not red in Conker's Bad Fur Day.
I think it was, like, green or something. It
like,
was weird.
Or maybe it's just the same color as the wood. I forget.
I don't know. Yeah, that controller is all kinds of crazy. The 3 prongs. All right. So the logic, we have this guy, which is just the trigger zone.
And, you're in the brain that's being pushed.
Excuse me. So we're gonna first look at here this context sensitive button, and we are gonna rebuild this. So we'll put that over here. And that's kind of small. Okay. So let's take a look here at the context-sensitive brain. So pretty simple here. So there's a trigger zone, which we just saw used to start that cinematic, and we're using that same global player variable. So when that global player enters the trigger zone, display the B at the bottom center, and then when that is pressed, we're going to deactivate the current brain, we're going to toggle on this Boolean active, and we're going to set that brain back to true. Okay. And then at that point, when that is now starting to, we're going to push this other brain, which is in the other logic cube. And when it's no longer active, we're going to pop that brain back off. So this is using like multi-brains to do this, which are super powerful. So push brain basically allows you to take a brain and layer, and whatever the current brain that's running, it'll push it to the side and pop that one in its place. And then when you tell it to pop a brain, it'll take the one that you just are currently using and put it off, pop it off, and replace it back with the current one.
Yeah, here's like the best explanation I got is like, let's say you got I just have 2 controllers in my hands. Let's say you got like these 2 controllers, and they're like 2 different brains. This one's your brain currently running. Push brain basically brings, this is the new brain. It brings this brain in, pushes this one off to the side. If you do add brain, what it does is this brain's here, and it stacks it on top of that brain, and so they're both running. Push brain will do like, no, get out of my way, and this is the only one that's running. So that's like the best way I can kind of explain. If you ever wondered like push brain or add brain, the difference between those two, then hopefully that helps. And then if you do pop brain, like we were doing, then if we bring out the Handy controllers again, then it's sort of like pop brain is saying like, go away now, and then, oh, you can come back.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. So jumping in, so this is the bush that we are pushing on to Conker, and it's just looks like a default player control flight. So when left stick, we're moving with flying at the speed of 3, and everything else is pretty basic. And then X and Y will control our altitude, and you just have to move up and move down.
Oh, this is actually the basic third-person flight brain that you'll find in the gallery. Yeah.
Awesome. So pretty straightforward. So let us recreate this real fast. So let's start, because it's really simple. We're going to push this logic cube here. And logic cubes are great for just, storing code, and we're going to jump in and push, and they're like perfect to reference, like this is where I'm storing all this code to add to the player.
Yeah, you can even like put in another fun one, like instead do like a land creator or shooter or like...
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Why not here? Third person thrust. I wonder if that would look, because he would like be tail spinning, and then like...
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's try it.
Okay.
Why not?
Yeah.
Equip the Astro Blaster, why not? Let's see if there's anything that'll make it funky. No, should be good.
Now we'll test it live.
Yeah, we'll do it live! Okay, and then we're going to make sure that this is a template, so it doesn't keep running until we want to add it. And we're going to go on here, And we're gonna set a, oh, first I want to make sure I got my trigger zone. So we're gonna go to properties, brain, sensors, display that trigger zone. All right. And we're gonna shrink this guy down. Put it right there. Perfect. So when our global player is in trigger zone, sensors in trigger zone, we're going to do a couple things. So we're going to display B button. And we're going to say on screen position, and we're going to do bottom center the same way. And perfect, so display B, and then let me make sure I get this right. Okay, and when B is pressed, we're gonna deactivate toggle active. That is right, cool. So when B is pressed, we're gonna do a couple things. We're gonna first take our global player and deactivate his brain. It's false.
Yeah, I realize also the problem with that approach is because we're trying to yeah, we're trying to make it so that when you press the B button, he doesn't do his roll thing. Whereas the problem with that approach is it's saying deactivate just like a millisecond after you press the B button. So he's getting his input before his brain's being deactivated.
Yeah.
So we might want to do like something along the lines of, I don't know. Well, we won't have to worry about those intricacies.
Yeah, we're not gonna want to.
We don't have to worry about that stuff.
Exactly. And let's see. So and then start active. Perfect. And now that we are toggling this active on, we're going to go to multi-brain here. Brains. Or we're gonna push. You don't have to go there. Push brain. And go pick this guy, and global player is gonna push it. And it's no longer, right? No longer. Yep. And we're gonna pop it.
And you don't have to reference that brain either. We'll just pop his most recent one, and that's it. That's how you do. That's how you push new mechanics onto a character.
So let's try this in action, see if I can give myself my thruster. Oh, look at that! That was really cool.
Gun. Yeah, I know.
Like I kind of like the roll.
Yeah, me too. The roll kind of works there. Whoa, look at him!
Look at his cheeks!
That's awesome.
That might be the best thing ever.
Now he's gonna fall all the way down.
Oh, that is awesome. And his tail, like nose. That's pretty cool.
All right.
So that's the context sensitive button, and then we also want to check out how are we doing on time. 47. We can do this peephole real quick.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna actually go into your cinematic here, and I'm gonna play around.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
So first, what we're gonna do, so trigger zone, play, and what this does, right, we're setting up that camera, activate.
Yeah, if you want to do like a peephole before you get to play, you can just say like, do play after countdown timer 2.
Yeah, exactly.
So like you can do new boolean called like peephole, and then after countdown timer 2, play.
Yeah, I can do, right, that will do that.
Nope, because that's...
Well, that just delays the cinematic. I could have it like transition, right? So that it like people.
Oh yeah, what you actually put under play, put countdown timer as the next one under play, and then put all those as child lines under countdown timer 2.
Oh, that's right, because it'll just run. Derp. There you go.
Yeah, put them all in there. Here you go. Bam.
Okay. And so when play is active, we can actually go in here now, and we're gonna go take a look at this new UI, which I am super excited for. Okay, so it's gonna be, we're gonna first go to Appearance, Display, and we're gonna go to the gallery here. Peephole.
And you want to go over to, there you go.
So you have 2 different ones that are, you all have available now to you right now. There's Peephole Large and Peephole Small. And we're gonna do, I think we're gonna do small actually. Okay. So we're gonna display Peephole Small. We're gonna make sure this is black. Color, that's what I want. Okay. Alright, when play, and then play stays active that whole time, right? Okay. So we're going to display Peephole, and the main thing that we're going to do to make this transition is it's going to be manipulating its scale. And we're going to go in and we're going to make a new number variable. We'll just call it scale for fun. Okay.
Oh, you know what? Actually, you probably want to do the... Never mind. Nope, you're doing it right. I was going to say, like, maybe the camera before Peephole, but I was thinking, nope, Peephole first.
And we actually, because we're going to say, when this starts, we're going to want it to shrink to black, actually. So we're going to actually start really big. Kind of depends on what you want to do. We're going to have it start like, let's see if 20 is big enough. Okay, let's just test that real quick. This might be too big. Whoa.
Oh, I don't think you set a position for it. You
Oh.
set it to be like world center. That's in Birdie.
I never do. I always forget to not set the screen position. Position at, nope, screen location, and we're gonna go center.
There you go.
So there is that new,
Yeah.
thing.
New Peephole.
Pretty awesome. Okay. And
So you want to, if are you shrinking down to like?
yeah, we're gonna go really big to small.
Okay, so you probably want to do
It
like
needs to be
100.
Yeah, it needs to be bigger. I think maybe 50. I'll say 50.
I think I've seen when we use like 360
Really?
for the scale. I think that's
Whoa.
like, yeah. But it decrements at an increased rate, so it's like an exponential decrement.
Oh, okay. I'm not gonna get that fancy.
Yeah, it's like scales at decrement multiplied by X.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, let's do. I think if it's running every frame, we can do like 2 maybe. That's pretty fast.
Yeah, probably 1.
Okay. And we'll do when scale is, just so it doesn't keep going. So you can see how it does the shrink. Now, on that effect, I think we actually are going to do, you can see for a second, right? You get the whole box around it.
Mm-hmm.
And the way to to clean that up would actually be to go in after, and do, I mean, there's a lot of things you could actually do. But you could like display some of our other primitive new UI elements around it.
What we actually do is we stack 2 peepholes on top of each other, keep one super, super big, and have that scale down slower, so you have one peephole kind of looking into another peephole that's...
This is why we have their devs, and
Yeah.
that's why we're community managers and their devs. Okay, we'll do that. That's smart. So we'll do...
You want to do like scale 2 for that.
Yep.
Oh wait, that's your. I think you're on number instead of number variable.
Oh, I hit.
What?
Got it. No. Where is it?
Wait, go back. No, go. There.
Oh!
You're setting a number variable, right?
Yeah, obviously I haven't woken up today. Okay. Scale 2. Okay. So that's a good idea. So we'll do another scale here. And this one will be even bigger.
So, like, that one...
60?
No, I would do 150.
Whoa.
Yeah. And the other one, actually, scale 50, I'd increase that to 60, because I did see it started, like, kind of far in anyways.
Yeah, we'll like do 100
then... Okay, that should work. So scale 2, I would have that decrement also at speed of, like, 1 as well.
Okay.
But, yeah, try that. Too slow.
Let's do, if there's like 1.5.
Oh, so
yeah, it's pretty close.
Yeah, you could just we could just make the
2.
timer 2.5. I think that would, or actually make it 2 instead of like decrement by 2. Gets a bit faster.
That should get us where it's pretty close to being disappearing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little wonky.
Yeah. So the other thing you need to do is with scale 2. You want to make it so that keep it at greater than 20 or
So
15
it stays,
or 10.
yeah.
Sorry, 10. Keep it at greater than 10. All right, that'll keep it so that one doesn't shrink down as far.
It's when when we do the camera thing.
Right, exactly.
Because it switches brains for a second.
Yeah, and so like the way we go about that actually is you add a black screen to the next page that is there for 1 frame. So like the entire screen is black. And that way that gets rid of all that. Like, because what's basically happening there, what you're seeing is in 1 frame it removing those 2 icons. And so to just hide that, because you faded to black, you just have a totally black screen that appears there.
Square.
Although actually, you know what? I would actually have that happen on the other page, right before the page switch. I would actually, put that right before switch to page next page. I have it right there. That should do it.
Test in action. I think we need it longer. Or, I don't know if it can just be 1 frame.
We could have it also on the second page too. It's like countdown timer of like, oh yeah. Duration timer of like
5 frames.
yeah, exactly. 5 in frames. Probably want to say yeah. That should be it.
I don't know. You guys get the idea. I want to make sure we talk about the animated crystals.
I think I know what's going on, but yeah. All right, so the last one.
And last.
So This is the more complex one because this deals with text variables. So how did I get this scaling? All right, so let's jump into the teddies. Well, actually, because I want to show you a concept that you probably haven't. I don't think I've seen many people really use this. So on the do side, let's bring up our text variable. Let's call this guy. All right, so what? We start with the skull. I'll just call it skull. So skull equals. Then we use a text string. And we do size.
Like that, right?
That,
yep.
Yeah. So what you do is you do the beginning of a text string. So size, and then a colon. Then you put a number variable here. So I might just call this skull. And then you you close it with, let's just find it, with a semicolon and then kind of the close bracket. And then you add in plus, and then let's go over to this object variable or objects and just type in skull.
You click it. Apparently, I need a rubber keyboard because my typing's so loud. But it's just because of the it's not me.
And you can even set a color here too. So, but the colors do override other colors at times. So you can actually set icons to be part of text variables. Mm-hmm. And you can have icons and text work together as part of the same text variable. So what this basically does is this allows you to, you're setting this text variable size, and it's a number variable in there, and you can change now the number variable so you can increment and decrement. You can increase and decrease the size of this icon by using like size right there. So let's go and see what we're doing here. So what that means is what we're doing, so this is what I kind of walked through. I forgot to add pluses between font size. But so you kind of are creating this text string. You're creating the icon that text string is being assigned to. And then this allows you to make it so that in real time you can increase and decrease the size of each of those icons independent of each other. So you go down here. So what we're doing is they all have different font sizes. So we got font 1, font 2, font 3, font 4, because we want each of those 4 icons to scale independent of each other. So we want to set them all initially, like what's the actual size of those icons. So we set it to 15 because it's based on actually a font point scale. So it's like 60 is like a large font. So you want to use the icons not based on icon scale but on font scale, which is kind of hard to kind of understand. But so I set the font size for each of these to 15 to start out with. That's like that's kind of a medium size font. And then I make it so that with the, I kind of scale it. So to scale them kind of up and down, I set a Boolean that toggles every 5 frames, or again, 30 frames per second. So every 5 frames, there's a Boolean that will change from true to false. So when that's true, then each of those font sizes I'm doing different things to. Font 1, I'm increasing by 3 points per frame for 5 frames, so it's increasing by 3 points. Font 2, I'm decreasing by 1 point per frame, so it's getting smaller by 1 point. Font number 3, I'm increasing by 2 points per frame, so it's like growing a bit slower than font 1. And then font 4, I'm decreasing at 2 per frame, so shrinking as fast as font 3 shrinks. And what this equals is all 4 of the different things are kind of going to be shrinking and increasing at different rates. So then I make it so that when scale is active, they're doing these things, and when scale is inactive, they're doing the exact opposite, because I want to make it so they're constrained kind of into like increasing this size, decreasing that size, increasing, decreasing, increasing, decreasing, so it's all in the same kind of, all the same amount. So that's basically what you can do. You can make it so that all of this is just making it so that scaling is happening a lot. Then how you display it all is you just have to say in this character say, and then in a comic say tile, because you want it to be in a comic say tile, you do those 4 text strings that you created all the way at the top. So we created lightning, we created a skull, star, and swirl. And so then within here, we can then, we just say, say within there the lightning text variable plus the skull text variable plus the star text variable plus the swirl text variable. And then I just set kind of a max and min width of the speech bubble to kind of constrain it to be at a certain speed. But that's all you really need to do in order to scale up icons within speech bubbles. You can scale them up and scale them down by just assigning this text string to them on these lines right here. So if you didn't know, you could kind of, if we didn't want to like scale in real time this stuff, then what I could simply say is, let's go here, just to show you kind of like what a text string looks like. So we do size, then you do like 15, and so that assigns to whatever text you're talking about that its size is this. And so then I set that, and then that would say that the size of the lightning bolt is 15. What this is doing is instead it's kind of breaking that up, and it's breaking that up so that you can kind of have that text variable that is increasing, decreasing in real time, and then that kind of allows you to do that nice little animated cursed bubble, the one that we couldn't get working on the last stream. But then you got that nice kind of, it's not like 100% Conker's curse bubbles, because that I think had the actual like they're actually also being animated besides just increasing, decreasing in scale. Also, it should note that these don't play that nicely if you have text in there too. It is possible, but you're going to have that the text kind of move with it. So like when those are increasing, the text will kind of move to the side and then like move back. So whoops, that's interesting. It just crashed. Well, we were just finished with it anyways.
Yeah,
so
basically.
I guess that's a good point to end it. It was like, you're done. You showed them. Yep. You can't show you any more awesomeness.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So, anyways, that was quite a bit to get through.
Yeah, lots of little things, but kind of together, right? It's kind of all those things that people love to see, like in a Conker game.
Yeah, so anyways, we are going to be showing off this Thursday. We will be showing off every single piece of content that's going to be in this pack. It's going to be, the stream will probably go over, but it's going to be at 3 p.m. Pacific time. This Thursday, you finally get to see every single thing that's going to be in this pack. And what else? I don't know. We have a lot more. I mean, we are just a bit over a week away, so we have a lot we're working on when Conker comes out for you guys. Anyways, hope you liked the stream, and hope you got some interesting new mechanics out of this.
Spark.
And we can't wait to see what you guys build. To travel the universe. So, anyways, we will call it there, but we'll see you guys
made by others just like you.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Create your game as you play? Any Spark can do it. Spark, activate the portals.